Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone!
Welcome to Everyone Racers.
It's a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ
Or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough,
and Chrissy,
and Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim,
And I'm mental.
and we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to episode 358 of our podcast. Yes, we are going to talk about the 358 specs using either a Chevy 350, Chrysler 360, or a 340, or a Ford 351 with a very specific set of part numbers. 358 modifieds are slightly less powerful than the next premier big block modified, putting out over 500 horsepower. The smaller engines and slightly lower weights make the 358 modified the stepping stone for most up-and-coming dirt track racers. Oh, you thought we were going to do a Ferrari? Well, what's the fun in that?
I didn't know anything about those. That's terrifying, actually. A modified with 500 horsepower?
That never goes
It's fun in
straight.
night racing,
Do you
putting
want to
them
You
die?
only turn. You only turn.
tracks.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Don't make her
You wanna
right.
die.
in. They're designed.
I feel like Uncle
just to
Dave
turn
knows
by.
exactly all about these things.
Right?
There's so many things that are so different than what we do. Like they stagger things on purpose to constantly make it go the other way, and
Yeah.
it's just so different. Good for them, though.
Okay, what you working on?
Fantastic.
Tim, what you working on?
Well, I went to the Litchfield County Fair in Maine, and I haven't been to like a real fair in I can't tell you how long. It was super cool. They had
Good old-fashioned
demolition
small-town
derby. Yeah, it really was like demolition derby, and like they had a car show where a bunch of antique cars did a lap around the circle of the fairgrounds, and there was some cool stuff, and I'll post some of it up on the socials. But just a couple of highlights. There was something I'd never seen before, which is a 1936 LaSalle CV, which was a General Motors brand that was supposed to be between the Chevy and the Cadillac. So it was like a step down from Cadillac. Super cool looking car. It went by. I was like, what the heck is that thing? There was a 1951 Crossley, which if you take like a Red Ryder wagon and put like a body on top of it and then put 5 people in it, like that's what drove by. It's the smallest little thing I've
Those
ever
things are
seen.
terrible.
It was,
Yeah.
oh, amazing. It looks like and I've got it on a picture with like a normal car behind it, and you're like, it looks like, is somebody towing that? Like what?
Yeah,
what
they
is
look
that?
like normal size in the picture that Mental has
Yeah,
Googled. Without any context.
I
they
know.
just
I'm
look
trying
like
to find
normal
like one with like another car nearby, and
It's like
yeah.
quarter scale. It's like a quarter scale car.
they
It's
used because they
hysterical.
used motorcycle engines. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool. Super cool. They had a 1960s Mercury Monterey where the guy had like a whole Johnny Cash rat rod theme to it, with the exhaust came out of the side and had like an intricate side pipe on the rear quarter panels that came out. It looked like he literally took like parts from a bunch of different cars, like the Johnny Cash song, and bolted it all onto this car. And it came out really, really cool looking. And there was a 61 Ford Starliner, which is
Oh yeah.
super
covered
rare
that one.
car. Yep, super rare car. I think they only made that car for 2 years, 60 and 61. So
And-
there's a lot
and
of
it
neat
was the first
stuff
introduction
there.
of the 352, which was the first engine to have more than 1 horsepower per cubic inch.
Mhm.
I learned that from
Super
Chrissy when she did the intro.
Must have been a slow news day.
I got to live it. It was a beautiful car. Beautiful car. And the highlight of the fair was there's a local tractor company, Waterman Tractor, and he built a kitty-sized tractor, pedal tractor, and a pull sled, and they had weight classes for boys and girls on this little pedal sled, tractor sled set up where they would go tearing down the thing, and they'd measure it out. It had like the flag would kick if they got to the full, I think it was about 58 feet for a full pull, and they had the announcers. There was probably 100 people watching these kids just cheering them on. It was so fun. It was so fun. So the Litchfield Fair, I highly recommend it. It was super, super cool. Super cool. Yeah, it was just like that. I mean, the guy had the chain driven weight where the weight would move further and further forward on the sled the farther they went. I mean, it was.
And these are pedal tractors too. Which,
yeah. And they gave out a pedal tractor to the winner. Whoever won got a pedal tractor to take home. So it was really neat. Like just.
She's gonna get almost. I thought she was gonna get the full pull. All right.
Yeah, corn-fed America. It felt awesome pulling out of there.
What fried food did you eat? Because that's not mandatory.
Yeah, because if you go to a fair and you don't eat something fried, especially if it's something that maybe you never thought of frying, like an Oreo, a Twinkie, chocolate covered bacon, cheesecake, beer, Pepsi, all things that I've eaten deep fried at state fairs.
So I went with the traditional New England route, and I had fish and chips and fried scallops, and then I had a giant ice cream waffle cone. So I did the fair things. Yeah, I did the fair things.
I'll allow it.
It was cool.
When is the last time you were at a fair, Chris?
Oh, I don't know.
Nope.
But I went to them in all kinds of fun places like Montana.
Oh,
so
that would have been amazing.
Yeah. It's been a long time. That's okay, does it? Anyway, that sounds like a great time, Tim.
Yes. Tim, you ready to do a road trip?
Yeah. I am very ready to do a road trip. Ready or not, here I come. So Friday we are heading back to California. So we're doing a little 4-day trip back across the country. First stop is going to be. I think we just set it up today. I think we're going to get to Buffalo, and then we're going to go to Omaha, and then Salt Lake City, and then California. So 15 hours is the worst one.
When you sign off, I will give you the name of Vicky's Aunt's restaurant in Omaha. You can get yourself some quality Mexican food.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'd love that. The wife would love that too. She's a huge Mexican food fan, so that'll be good after a 15-hour day. Get some chow.
All right.
And then other than that, I'm just getting itchy. So we had this as part of a main topic, and fiberglass is where I'm at. So I'm doing some boat repair, doing a canoe repair. So I've got all of the fiberglass everywhere right now. So I'm moving on to gel coat tomorrow. So the worst is behind me.
Has it been successful so far?
Yes. It is not my first rodeo. I had to. I bought a '69 Corvette, and the guy that I bought it from ripped the floor mounts of the seat out because they didn't do a metal floor pan until like '71. So I had to cut chunks of the floor out and reinforce it with a bunch of stuff. So doing it standing up is way better than laying on your back and having it all fall on you. So this was much better.
Either way, it's still miserable. Fiberglass is just miserable.
Yeah, for sure.
Down to. All right, Mental.
Cool.
What are you up to?
So I am doing, race recovery, just getting back, and I'm doing race prep because I'm leaving probably as our listeners are listening to this. I will be whipping my way to High Plains Raceway, where I am running with Tom and Jan Webb and their whole family team. We've got a great theme. It's going to be awesome.
Taking the Mercedes.
Taking the RV. The Mercedes would have been perfect.
Yeah. Eat up the miles. Well, hey, it's nice you have your RV back. You were without this RV that you owned for so long. It's like I forgot you had it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even now,
This
is
will be
it
your third
sufficient?
trip of that now.
I'm sorry. What was the question, Chrissy?
Is it sufficient? Is it working? Is it working?
Those are two different questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It
Better
like
than a tent?
the major components are working. I still haven't figured the self levelers. I haven't had a chance to repair yet, and I think that's causing the slide out problem. But the heat works, the AC works, the fridge works, so all of that. Yeah. And I replaced the light. It's got a real door lock on it now, so you can actually just open it and close it, and yeah. So
Okay, so that's sufficient. I call that sufficient.
yeah. It's a mental vehicle. It's a valid question. Do you have four wheels? Are you just going to lean? Yeah.
Well, 4 wouldn't be enough on that. So.
No, it is not. Yeah.
The answer was that's all I have. Yes, then that'd be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Just doing wheelies everywhere.
Oh,
Oh well.
well. Chrissy, what have you been doing?
Oh, what am I doing? I was not racing. I spent the weekend hanging out with the fam. So my nephews were over at my parents' house, so I spent time with them. I taught my nephew how to jack up his car. And so he has it wasn't even a little Tykes car. It's like a car that you had like a push, like you could push the kid on the back. And my dad threw a bottle jack into the driveway and said, here. So we learned how to jack it up, and then we learned how to undo it. And yes, and then all my friends decided to hassle me about how there was no jack stands. I'm not even sure how I would make that happen. Oh yes, you should.
This is how you know you have good friends.
The car is tiny. So yes, and then he decided to drag over a chair and sit in the chair while he was jacking it up, and I'm like, that's not really how you do it. So the car wasn't big enough.
Eat chips while he was doing all the work, or
unfortunately, I was the teacher because he doesn't really know how to do it. So because he kept saying up. Chrissy, make it go up. And I was like, okay, you have to jack it up. And then he's like, all right, now down. You're like, okay. So, I mean, and this is like a legit normal car jack. So it's like a little bit difficult to for kids to understand how you undo this secondary, screw type.
I just love,
anyway,
Chrissy, make it go up. Chrissy, make it go
Up.
down. Yeah.
That's exactly how
honestly,
it was, yes.
That's what we all start to sound like Saturday after like our fourth beer, at the track. So
yes. So they're hanging up with the nephews 2 and 4. So that was a good time. But Chris was at the race. What were you up to other than the race?
I prepped the rear window of the Porsche to re-glue it and reinstall it, just scrape it off all the old junk. And I replaced the O-rings on the fuel injectors and fuel pressure regulators for the boat. So hopefully that solves the low temperature, low speed stumbling problem. I think it had an air leak through there. We shall see. Yep.
Can't wait to drive it with
it.
the window in tomorrow. We'll see how it goes.
Can't wait to drive with a window. Yay.
No window.
Cool.
That's all right.
What are
It's
you
not too
talking
cold
about?
these mornings. In the Porsche.
Oh, yes. Having the back window of the Porsche. Yes, absolutely. That will be nice.
Sure.
Great.
Snooze no time.
All right. So you've got Lawrence Hodge. He's over at Jalopnik, and he is covering what might very well be the first casualty of what you're seeing in the recent YouTube shuffle. One of the largest automotive brands from the last decade is, of course, was founded by the late Ken Block, and that is Hoonigan. Last year, the company merged with a wheel company, and then acquired an off-road performance company for $50 million. More recently, it has lost several of their biggest personalities on YouTube, resulting in a decline of one of their major income resources. And as a result of all of that, they have filed for bankruptcy with $1.2 billion in debt. So it's a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they have revealed how in debt that they were. They are hoping to restructure that debt and keep the company going. Hodge points out that the departure of big personalities also aligns with what we saw from Donut and Car Throttle, as both of those media companies were acquired by venture capital firms. So as this is starting to go wrong, and if you've seen James Pumphrey, he's got his own channel now, and Alana's King, they kind of explain what goes on with these sorts of things where creators no longer get to create and it becomes about the bottom line. So that's a prediction, I think, is you're going to see a lot of these former big names go.
That's
hard
a
to
term for what they're going to do.
Yep. Yeah.
Bummer.
Crap. No, really. Well, I do. Haha.
Yeah, I closed.
No, I should record we'll do that again.
That'd be a good one too. Well, if you're angry about Hoonigan filing for bankruptcy, you could join another gentleman who is one of the angry people on the roads, but no one is quite as angry as this pickup truck owner whose truck was being towed in New York this weekend. Owen Bellwood from Jalopnik tells us how it went down. Instead of letting the tow truck driver drive off with their Chevy pickup, the owner instead fought off the tow truck driver and then proceeded to steal the vehicle and driving off in a fit of rage, as you do. The dramatic events unfolded in Sunset Park in New York this weekend when the black Chevy pickup was hitched onto the tow truck, nose high in the air, ready to be removed. But when the owner of the pickup was having none of it, according to local news outlet 12, the truck's owner drove down the street and hit every car along the way, nearly ripping his own door off. The truck is destroyed, and he would have likely gotten away if he didn't turn the street corner and then promptly crash into a city bus with the tow truck. He then made his way off on foot. The driver has not yet been identified by authorities, but we soon will find out all of the fun things about this very angry gentleman.
There is nothing that says standing up for yourself like destroying your own $70,000 Chevy. Good on you.
Hang on. If they haven't been able to identify the guy, how do they know this was his truck that was being towed and not some opportunistic thief saying 2 for 1? Hell yeah.
My bet is that they
like
just
that.
haven't released the guy's identity, and they're letting everybody, oh, dude, you're so busted.
Because everybody that hit his car on the way by, everybody's car that got hit by his on the way by,
Oh, yeah,
is
'cause,
all ready to beat him up.
Yeah,
So,
as in a second here, when you see it, like as it goes down there, the owner
Clunk.
of that car is mad. The owner of
Yep.
like the fourth car down there is mad.
Yep, look, it just front
where's this
smashed
jabroni? I'm gonna clock him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
watched
an
the
alpha
video.
that got its
he's
mirror
so-
smashed.
Yeah, smoke the alpha. I watched this video
No.
like 6 times, and I counted 6 cars that he made contact with,
Not counting
including
the bus.
not counting the bus.
A bus in New York City. Chris was just
Yeah.
would quit his job if that was part of, like the insurance on that. Like what? Really, the insurance on this
one
whole
is great
case.
because it's in the process of a crime and it's an intentional act. and there's all
because
kinds
I'm
of ways we
pretty
would
sure
say,
the insurance
nope,
company is going to go.
Nope.
Nope. Got it.
It's called a felony.
Can nope
How did
our
you
way
enjoy
hell
the
out of
last-
that pretty well?
How did you enjoy the last vehicle you'll ever own?
Right?
Oh, and here's
Probably
like,
no license either.
as the video keeps going, they just showed like the aftermath. I mean, seriously, he should have just let him tow it because this homeboy's truck is just absolutely wrecked.
Here's someone no one was expecting.
Work on that
Dude
one,
with
so.
a black pickup truck goes on a ridiculous
Rampage?
rage-fueled rampage.
Weird.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Amazing.
Oh well. Hey, in better news, do you dream of the salt and setting your own land speed record, but you don't think you have the car? Well, sure you do. Well, you probably don't really, but the infamous 1959 Pontiac Bonneville from Full Metal Jacket Racing just claimed the new fastest Lemons car record. This last week, the 59 Bonneville set a new record at the Salt Flats for Lemons cars. And the linked video in the show notes shows both the 133.4 mile per hour run on the 1 mile course and the 146.15 mile run on the 2.25 mile course. Wow. The previous record, Mike Meir's team Tiny Vet Opal, which was 117.
Wow.
It's a glorious sounding video because you guys remember when you were at Buttonwillow a couple years ago, that Bonneville. That car
it looks great.
Yes. And so they it needed a few more, they were trying to get into the 150 mile club. They didn't quite make it, but yeah.
There are a couple of Lemons cars out there that I think could do that. Like Tata's, for example, that thing rips.
I don't know. I feel like the old Bustleback might run into some aerodynamic brick walls.
Still,
at least the Bonneville's
big old
kind of
V8 and a 6-speed. Yeah.
And jet wings. I think the only reason they did this is because they can't keep the car running for more than 20 minutes on a racetrack. So they figured that they might as well try a top speed record. Sorry, Mingus.
Remember, Tim said that, Phil. I'll see you at the end of the month. I'm bringing you the Omega. We're still tight, bro. We're good. All right.
All right, on other car, let's talk about some other cars. Did you hit the 800 million Mega Millions jackpot? If so,
No.
head over to Racing Junk. You didn't? Oh, darn. And get yourself a new whip. Oh, look, it is a 2016 C7 Corvette Trans Am race car. It has a 358 CI engine. Oh, look at that. Not to mention other cool TA stuff. But do you know what it doesn't have? Pictures, because they were too cheap to spring for the pro membership. So you have one picture of it on track, and it looks lovely. It looks lovely.
It's slightly on fire.
Yes. So maybe it's a little charred. No, I think it's just the exhaust, but it's well, how dumb is that? You're selling that car for this much money and you aren't gonna
you couldn't fork out the price of a meal for two at Chili's for a Racing Junk Pro membership.
Good luck selling that shit. I mean, good luck selling that shit. Yes.
On the realm of cool things you can buy on there, it's a twofer at Racing Junk this weekend because Chris Sweeny is practically giving away his Dodge Dakota truck. Do you want to worm your way into the judges' hearts? Show up with this AMC engineered miracle. For only $5,000, it's got everything you need to go racing. Got that America paint scheme, got an Alabama-sized wang, and how much more. But you know what it also doesn't have? Pro membership. Come on, Chris. We would have given you access to ours. But this is a great truck, actually, and that's a great team. And it's I know they're kind of moving on to their Mustang on this one, but he does have a stack of stuff. It's always an IOE contender. It gets lots of trophies. It gets lots of love. Just bear in mind, for the longest time, it was running with a bed cover that was stolen from his neighbor's collapsed shed. That was one of my favorite things when they showed up at NOLA all those years ago.
All right, it's upcoming races time.
It totally
Back
is.
to High Plains Raceway. Lemons is back in Colorado for the High Plains Drifter. 78 cars, only 11 BMWs. Nice job, Colorado. 5 Miatas, 5 Hondas, 2 Porsches. And so there's so many other good cars then, including a 68 Plymouth Roadrunner Satellite, a Chevy HHR from our friends at Apex Adjacent, and all the usual fun of the Colorado teams. They do a great job.
The Vega's
Nice
going
crew.
back. There's a Volvo wagon. It's going to be great.
There's
Salty
2
Thunder's
Volvos?
bringing their Fiero.
They have a
it's gonna be
great Saturday night potluck.
They do
there
at
too.
HPR.
It's really lovely. They're all nice
Yeah.
people.
So much fun. All right. Champ Car is in Texas Hill Country for the high Miata content Texas Grand Prix. There are 42 cars, 6 BMWs, 20 Miatas. I didn't realize that this was called, like, I was doing the numbers and then I didn't realize this was called, yes, there's so many Miatas. 1 Honda,
20.
zero Porsches, a Ford Pinto, a C230, an 81 Alpha Spider, and an Audi 90.
That one Champ Car race, it's like all the Miatas in Texas go to it.
It's craziness.
Apparently.
All right.
No
It's like,
Porsche.
it's like a spec. It's like a spec racing, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little bit.
Spec Miata.
You know, it's not a spec race. Lucky Dog. And Lucky Dog is the ridge for the Dog Fest, Oktoberfest celebration, and beer garden. Now, they have 69 cars. Nice. 18 of those are BMWs, 14 are Miatas. There are 5 Hondas, 4 Porsches, and a Hyundai Tiburon.
Well, but wait, because it's Lemons, and I'm sure Kim Harmon loves this. There's 2 races.
Goodness.
They're also at Pacific Raceway for the Smells Like AMC Spirit, with a whopping 49 cars on this track day, 4 BMWs, pretty good, 5 Miatas, 5 Hondas, 1 Porsche, and the Austin Land Crab crawling its way to the racetrack.
They're getting that thing sorted. It's getting there.
Yeah.
It's been several years, but yes.
Right. Well, yes, as it does.
It started as a land crab, so where you're gonna, your base is pretty low here.
It's not where you are, it's how far you had to travel to get there. And starting with an Austin
and they
Land
traveled
Crab, that is a voyage.
Yeah.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
All right, it's recent results time. All right, Champ was at Mid-Ohio Grand Prix. Saturday 8-hour overall winner goes to the ATL Speedworks in their 1999 Porsche Boxster 718 by only 1.38 seconds, with Porsche sweeping all the podium spots. EC win goes to Section 8 Racing in their 05 Ford Mustang.
Now, Sunday, the 7-hour overall was Team Saline Ketchup in their 99 Boxster, winning by 10 seconds over the ATL Speedworks team. And the EC winner was Team Bruce Innovations and their 2006 BMW M3. And I'm sure that is a wonderful car, but I feel like having seen our Bruce weld brake pads onto a clutch, that's really Bruce Innovations, but good on them.
That's true.
Yeah. Stealing the copyright name. Sorry, Bruce. And Lemons, as we'll talk about shortly, was at Road America for the Sausage Fest. Actually, it was the
Spray and Slay.
Rustoleum.
Yeah, the
Spray and
Rustoleum Spray and Slay. But
Thank
they
you to
forgot to
Rustoleum,
tell
new
everybody, because even the stickers from Lemons of Love said Sausage Fest because they forgot to get it updated.
It was a late
changed
ad.
a little on the late side.
Yeah.
It was a late ad. Yeah.
But we love Rustoleum, and we're so glad they sponsored it.
Yes, thank you, Rustoleum. There were 145 cars, and the winners of the A-Class were the Tatas in the 136 in their 1984-ish Chevy Camaro Cadillac from Lisle, Illinois. Love those guys. Car sounds amazing. The winner in B was forking around in the number 70 Dodge Stealth from Cedar Rapids. And the Class C winner, the Skunk Works 1972 Opel GT from Indiana. Well done, boys and girls.
I've got some extra texture on all these. This was the Tata's 10th overall win, and this race tied it for the most Lemons appearances by a single car ever. So that's fun.
Highly
The Class
interesting.
B winner, it's a freaking Dodge Stealth Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It's a terrible car. It won C Class 2 months ago. This is their first race in B, and they were like 6th overall. Like unbelievable job in a Mitsubishi product.
Welcome
Joe?
to A.
Yeah, Joe,
Yeah,
Joe,
right.
Joe, are you
Good luck.
listening? Joe, you can make one of these things last a whole race if you just back down a little bit. You can even win. All right.
And
Sorry.
the C Class car only took the lead in the last like half hour because this was a total tortoise in the hare. The other one, the car otherwise leading, was a Mazda 2, and it down the road America straights with 98 horsepower. They were just doing their thing, had lots of time,
doing their taxes.
Right,
Yeah.
they caught up on their favorite
Hanging
shows on
out.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Right,
Hanging
yeah.
And
out.
on Saturday,
And-
I believe the Narwakis with the Fomoco Dodge Magnum, they were in that hunt as well, but they had some linkage issues on that car.
Yeah,
But
they
I remember
got
chatting
closer.
with those guys.
But this Opel GT, this is not an Opel GT.
No.
It has a mid-mounted Audi 4.2 liter V8, and the front suspension is off of an S4. And this was basically just, I am bored over the winter in Indiana for the last 5 years, and it's never worked until this weekend, and then it actually worked. It is a horrifying creation, but it just kept working. Right? Who knew?
We have a picture
All right.
of it.
Yeah,
The Franken
you can
Opel.
see like, it doesn't look quite right. Yeah, it's because it's not. Anyway, organizer's choice was the dipsticks in their 03 Jetta. Because they had a fantastic Camacho 2024 election theme. It's an idiocracy. He's got a 3-point plan. They really leaned into it. They had their signs up everywhere. They never went anywhere without flags for Camacho.
Hector Camacho.
24.
Hector
Did they
Elizabeth.
give you electrolytes?
Oh yeah, the car had the food pyramid full of Brondo. Yeah, everyone needed. Every time we came in, we said, "Oh, are you running low on electrolytes? Is that what the problem is?" Right. So they leaned into it hard, and that was great. Rustoleum, we thought we should do something for Rustoleum, right? We gave a case of used paint that Rustoleum had given us, and we'd used to a car with no theme. It was a Honda Fit. The team name is It's a Good Car, and these are a bunch of kids that just barely got this thing. It's a 300-something thousand-mile Fit, and they didn't even get it through tech until Saturday afternoon because the problem was it ran fine Friday until like late in the day before they couldn't even get to the parade because their main wiring harness had a clip come loose and it fell down to the exhaust manifold and melted one wire, which was ECU power. So they were chasing all kinds of stuff all day Saturday until they found that. Like, we felt bad for them. They were so excited once the car got running. And ran all day Sunday, so that was nice. But hopefully they can put a theme on it with the spray paint that they got.
Yeah, that gosh, that hurts my soul.
That is a
They were trying
buttered
so
side
hard.
of bread down story right there.
Oh yeah. Heroic fix was Bike Mark Racing, and mostly to Keith Kemp on that team. This is almost like a lifetime achievement award for him of all the crap he fixes. And his wristbands were black by the end of Sunday. and a lot of that was working on other people's stuff. But for his car, even, we had a black flag all Saturday morning, and then some yellow after that. He changed the transmission in his car during that time. Like, it was, yeah, amazing. He
By himself.
off an old trans out of his 240SX
with one
right.
hand. Yeah.
And then later he changed the diff too. So like there were 2 out of 3 of the major
Wow.
powertrain components got changed, and like
Wow.
it was amazingly fast. And he always helps everybody else out too. He's a really nice guy. So that was
And not
more
just
than
at the
just a
track.
best
Like
weekend.
he's a mechanic, and he's like always he's notorious for helping people in his neighborhood, and just like church and stuff like that. He's like the nicest.
Yep. Judge's choice went to Failed Contraception Racing and their Firebird. They had a essentially talk show "Who Is My Daddy" theme, and
Yeah.
Daddy on the hood. It had Dale and Eric and Jay and Rustoleum, and of course Eric was the daddy. And they kept bringing him Father's Day gifts over the course of the weekend.
Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Right.
funny.
And they've got a baby seat on the roof with a really frightening stuffed child on the top the whole weekend. But they leaned into that pretty well.
Didn't they
Let's
also
see,
were
HM
they hosted the potluck as well? And
No, that was Derek hosted the potluck.
sorry, never mind. All right.
Mental,
Yep.
go back one picture on that right there. So weren't they
Whoa.
involved in that
We'll talk about that.
No, no, they were not involved in that. That's a picture of a bit of a pileup that was at turn 5.
Yeah.
I've seen the in-car video from that too. It's not pretty, but the Firebird was not involved in that.
Okay.
All right. HMG we're just here for the SR. They had a Chevy Blazer with a Home Alone theme. They painted, and these guys changed up their theme like every race, and they're always good. Like, they did in the past, the John Denver's tour bus theme and like all kinds of, they always paint their Blazer up. They're nice guys too. This one, they did it like the van of the thieves in Home Alone, the plumbing van from early on. They
Wet
had
Bandits.
wanted posters up around the track. They served drinks out of like a plumbing tap at the potluck. They put Eric's face on missing posters, calling him Kevin. So everyone's like, "Where's Kevin?" It's Eric. Things like that. And this is also just a bit of a again, lifetime achievement. These guys always theme hard and have never won anything for it, and so this was great for them just to recognize all of their past and current themes that they always lean into. So great job there. I got screwed. Went to old dudes in their Ford Ranchero. This is a tragic story. They had left from like South Carolina or somewhere down there to come up to Road America, Wisconsin. Their tow vehicle died about like a third of the way into the trip. They couldn't get to any place to rent a truck. They had to rent a car to drive somewhere else to rent a truck to go back and get their trailer.
Oh no.
Right? And leave their truck at like the dealer to get fixed, and then they drove the rental truck with the trailer up to the track. At the track, eventually the Ranchero blew up too. So the guy, they're driving back with a broken race car in a rental truck to go pick up, not pick up their broken truck that's still at the dealer that they had to rent a car to get to. Like it's like a series of terrible things that happened, and they're very nice people too. So that was a shame. They got.
And
screwed.
that's a gorgeous Ranchero. They've done that Holloman and Moody theme down in South Carolina. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that thing's been running for years, and they just have a good time.
They weren't this weekend, but
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, old dudes.
Right. The Shameless Pandering to Sponsors Award. This is the regional trophy. This went to the Shitshank Redemption, their PT Cruiser. They were the very first ones to arrive at the parade. They had basically put a water heater in the back of their PT Cruiser, stuck up out of the roof that they'd made into a giant Rustoleum can. And they had cans of paint and let anybody just paint their car over the entire parade night.
okay.
So it got painted. Yep.
Wow.
As you'd imagine.
All
Cans
right.
out of painting at the right. We'll do it. It looked good. They commit to theme there. Well done. The Hella Sweet Trophy went to Idio Racy in their Toyota Avalon. This was a in contention for the IOE, but it didn't quite make it. But it was basically a bone stock 03 Avalon on all season tires. The inside still had like the wood grain trim around the shifters and the digital message center and the power window switches zip tied to the door. Like they left all of it in there. It had a stock exhaust, so you couldn't even hear it running ever. And it just kept going. So like that's fantastic. They stole the car from grandma and just went racing with it. And that's how it looked. Rustoleum winner on Index of Fluency was Team Skid Steer. They brought a 1981 Mercury Cougar sedan. I'd never seen a Mercury Cougar sedan before. But it's not either of those mental at all.
Oh,
it was a beige Cougar sedan with a giant Cougar logo up on the grill. It had very clearly been in a bad hailstorm. You could see it from any angle, but other than that, it was a completely stock Fox body Cougar sedan.
Oh, Fox Bob. I'm thinking of the Mercury Bobcat. Sorry, yeah.
No, this is a Cougar, and it had like a 200 cubic inch straight six and an automatic. This thing is awful. And it had the 136th fastest lap time, and came in like 50th or something stupid like that. It just kept running very, very slowly. Another car that clearly never hit double digits ever, even down the straights at this track.
And I remember because it was
No.
so quiet going down the straightaway. And oh, crud, I thought we had a picture of it. Yeah, one of the pictures from that event, it does show it.
Yeah.
But
It
I'm
was
just wasting time. But
it was exactly the kind of thing that Lemons wants to have. If we had a D class, this would have been in it.
there it
It's,
is in the center
great.
of this, right?
Yeah, you can't see it. You can see there's a beige sedan. That's about it.
Yeah, well, because that's what it looks like. It's like someone in Minecraft made a sedan.
Yeah. But when your fast lap is almost the last fastest lap and you come in above mid pack, almost top third, yeah, that's how you win an IOE in an 81 Cougar. So
Yes.
a lot of good
Well
stuff there.
done. Well done.
Okay, listener review time.
Well, Mental posted a picture of his scorched brakes on Sunday, and some guy named Tim Burr said, potato chips for brake pads. That's a bold move, Cotton. To where DJ914 replied, it just may pay off.
It didn't. Nope.
Spoiler alert.
we may have finally talked those guys into getting some ST43s now that these ones don't work.
To which I
Nice.
cannot thank you enough. I've been lobbying for this since they did that brake upgrade.
I mean, those things are thin.
There's some metal left, and that's it.
Not much.
Jeremy Boonen said, quote, not a lot of people have tried them, but I've been having great results with EBC SR21 pads up front. Ran most of Audubon and all over Road America and still have a third or more of the pads left. No cooling ducts. I made sure to brake harder than normal this weekend, too. So this is like my new go-to pad. Okay.
This is the sintered pad. I've actually heard this from a couple of track day guys, not endurance racers, but they have just raved about that pad. So it might be worth trying if you're having a hard time getting your go-to pad. Carl Applegate asked if there were actual race pads, while Tom Bushwell said, love that track, need to get back there. Thomas Endesfelder called the used pads race car brisket.
Something
delicious.
like that. I don't think
Definitely
it was
burnt ends,
delicious.
that's for sure.
Definitely don't eat them. John Samuel said it was not kind to us either and showed us a pic of his cracked rotor. On the gram, Dan.
I'm screwing around, but I have that picture. There it is.
That's, you can't
Yeah,
see it at all.
that's
a thumbnail.
Tiny.
Dan said, stop using Oreos for brake pads. And on the Facebook, Adam N said, it was great to see Chris and Mental at Road America.
Yeah, the weekend was hard for them. They were working hard. From last week's episode on the YouTube, Cones in at said, quote, pro tip, golf cart rentals are $375 for the weekend. Mazda 2s on Turo are $275, which to their credit, that's exactly what they rolled around Road America in. And apparently it was delivered and picked up at Road America for no extra charge. So follow
What?
Cones and at for more great advice.
Although the person that wrenched it to them was very excitedly adamant about the fact this is not good, that they can't take it on track, not allowed to take it on track. And Randy's like, no, it's just a golf cart. Really? Like, I just need to drive around the track.
And
or
like,
around the
you
paddock
can't
with it.
take it
And
there
so-
anyway if you wanted to.
Yeah. So they.
Although I feel like maybe Randy
hatch,
took pictures
holding
of
a
that race
wagon.
car Mazda 2 and be like, oh, sorry, we'll fix it.
Yeah. Tyler saw Tyler several times this weekend, which was great to see him. And his car ran nicely all weekend. It was nice to see. He said, good track walk. I, too, never felt like I got turn 14 right. I'm not sure about double apex in the carousel, but I've never really tried it. In my MX-3, I was able to pass quite a few people on the outside while they were hugging the inside of the track, and cutting the inside made the apex on the way out. And if you can, it's definitely the way to go. It's one thing I thought was really wrong in your description of the entry to turn 1 is there's no way I'm getting to that braking zone at 120. It might be 100 on a good lap. I'm looking forward to seeing Chris and Mental this weekend.
And on the gram, cross-threaded racing said we'll be there in both cars, different team names, but both cars for the first time. Hope you had fun.
And on the threads, Jackie said, I've taken personal offense to the 3 broken Porsches. Predicting the future. Sorry, Jackie.
It didn't break that much.
No, it did. It took the checker.
bit.
It was fine.
It did.
It only broke a little. The RV and the trailer broke more than the race car did, sadly.
Sounds
Oh
like
no, they just bent a little. It's fine.
No, I think it broke on the way home too. They had to like stop
Oh,
and do
did.
something else.
He also ripped the
That's a shame.
exhaust off when he was getting it out of the trailers.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
triple wah wah.
Oh, wait, we
bummer.
have that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I closed.
All right. Also, folks, we are sponsors of the Wreckin' Yard podcast, and I want to thank Jerry Wayne for his positive comments. At like every show, he does a little cold read, and he's like, "I was just listening to that episode, and I tell you, it's funny as bub." So he's actually saying a lot of great things. He is offering his fans his takes on our work, and he calls us one of his favorite driving podcasts. So that's the one you listen to.
Aww.
You don't listen to it on the way to work. You listen to it like when you got a road trip, which kind of follows a lot of the feedback that I think we've all gotten. People like to put it on when they've got a road trip on there. So if you're looking for something different, we're going to have a link to that. Jerry uses his various past vehicles as this common thread about life. And while he may call himself less than perfect, he is a master storyteller. And the Wreckin' Yard brings you along on a very relatable stories of Jerry's long and fascinating journey, and maybe about helping you become the kind of person you want to be. I find his show to be one of my favorite driving podcasts if you really like a good, deep, southern, soothing voice. So thanks for those kind words, Jerry. And hopefully we're going to see you in November. And we'll have a link to all that in our notes.
You know who else
Okay.
has a fascinating
soothing
journey and,
Oh, yes.
and
a
wants to be
soothing,
the
calm
kind of
voice.
person you want to be?
Yes, the kind of person you want to be. All of those things. Why, that's Chrissy's mom.
That's very nice. I feel like she might have had some in-person listener feedback, and I don't remember what it was.
Like
I'll
someone came up to her and went, "Are you Chrissy's mom?" and hounded her for cookies?
No, it was something about the show that we had.
Oh, she
with
had
the
something to say
red-
about us. Oh, okay.
Oh yes, yeah, the red interior and the gray interior.
Gray.
I think actually, Tim, I think she wanted to know what your favorite color was.
My favorite color?
Yeah.
My favorite color is red.
Okay. Interesting. There you go, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hello, Chrissy's mom.
Now you know.
Oh, yeah, right. And
Wait,
also,
hold on. I've got that.
now you know. Do 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 do. I have to give this is not even I should have probably put this in what you're working on. I actually got to see some race friends this weekend. So I got together with Dishwashing Fairy and El Jefe. And we got together.
Oh, you made
but
it
also,
out to the extreme event.
No, we just met them
The
for
extreme
dinner.
dinner.
But that's okay. Extreme dinner, yep, and a beer, but that's about it. But anyway, my mom made them cookies. So I was on my way out the door, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to see race friends that really want cookies. She's like, let me just whip up some Biscoff bars and some chocolate chip cookie bars. And I was like, that sounds great. And I gave them to them. So thanks, Mom. Anyway, it's big time.
This last weekend, we went to Road America. Well, not we. Mental and I went to Road America, and we had a great time. So we're going to talk all about Road America. Yeah, Tim's sad, didn't go. Chrissy's sad, didn't go. But
And
whatever.
this is not sch-wang, freuiden. Yeah, you guys should be sad you didn't go. That was the weather was great, the town's great, the people are great, the track's amazing.
Did you just say sch-wang Freuden?
Whatever. The delight in other people's unhappiness.
Was that
Freude.
Liechtenstein?
Schadenfreude.
There it is.
Schadenfreude or Schwangfreuden.
Right now, Mooschlong is redoing their T-shirts to be Schwangfreud.
Schwangfreud.
It's going to be awesome.
It's the same thing.
Schwangfreud. All right. In this Schwangfreud episode,
Working on it right now.
right?
All right, if you don't type that in, I'm going to have to.
Already in it.
Yep. Okay. So let's just go through the weekend. Travel in. I had a great travel in. I flew direct flight from Philadelphia to Milwaukee. And as I was checking in, American Airlines said, "Would you like to upgrade to first class for $75?" I said, "Yes, I would. Thank you."
Holy
So
crap! Yeah,
I
you
did. So that was great. So priority boarding, boarding group 1. Okay, that's fine. Oh, sir, can I get you a drink? Yes, I would. I'll have a rum and Coke. Thank you. And they gave me extra rum and extra Coke right with it in a glass, like a glass on an airplane.
You did not. You
Like,
had a glass?
Yeah, they gave me a glass.
It's first
I
class.
got
That's
a
what they do
glass.
up there.
Right.
I had no
know, They were
idea.
so nice. We got better
I thought it
quality
was
snacks too.
plastic.
It was lovely. Right?
Huh.
Have you filled out your expense report yet?
Yeah.
Yes. Sent it yesterday. You don't wait on that crap.
Did
Sorry,
you?
Kim wants it now.
Did you give all the coachers the disapproving looks as they walked by and disturbed your?
I tried to ignore them while sipping my beverage as I looked at my iPad. I figured that,
Excellent.
the normies there, right? And my bag was the very first one off because they put a little orange tag on your bag thing to priority bag off too. So that was great. So then I went and picked up my
Oh.
rental car. So
Yeah,
Mental
nice.
knows what I got for a rental car. So we're going to play guess the rental for the other people here. So
Oh, I don't
I
know.
like
I reserve through National, as I usually do, and it's Emerald Isle. So you go pick whatever you want in the aisle. I will preface this: that this was not my first choice. First, I got into a Volvo XC60 and was all ready to go and tried to set up the CarPlay to plug in to go, and it only had a USB-C port and no USB-A port, and didn't have wireless CarPlay, so I had no way to hook up CarPlay. So I said, "Nope."
And he had just
I
gotten
am
out of
out.
first class, and he was having
Right.
none of this plebeian nonsense.
What cars don't have a USB, like a normal USB?
It did. It had a USB-C port because it's a newer car. It only had C, and I didn't bring a USB-C to Lightning
Yeah,
cord.
but I
I
mean,
only
like,
had my
just like
USB-A one.
what?
There's
No.
I know.
actually, he's right. It's a
I mean, I'm
thing. I always
sure,
carry the cigarette lighter adapter for my old school USB, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
But without CarPlay, I'm not taking that. So that was my first choice that I was not able to get. So
How does it not even have
Open it up.
wireless? That's the inexcusable
well, I
part.
I even Bluetooth
crazy.
to it saying, okay, it probably has wireless, and then it's like, nope, plug in for CarPlay. This is stupid. I'm out. Went and got something else. So, question.
Not cool, Volvo.
You had a big bag. Were
I
you
had one
planning
big
on?
bag and one little backpack.
Were you taking anybody with you at all?
No, but often once you're at the track, you do end up taking other people with you.
Correct. I mean, I know that. I was just wondering if that was in your consideration.
I was trying not to get the smallest thing available, but there really wasn't anything small to take. So I didn't really have a choice of that.
What category car is it? And let me preface this: sedan, SUV, pickup truck,
It was an
Minivan.
SUV.
SUV. Okay.
How is it
They
we've
had
been
a
playing
Dodge
Guess the
Ram and
Rental
they
that
had a
long and no
minivan.
one's ever asked that question? Because I feel like that would have made that game a
I
lot
tried
easier.
to ask. Yeah, I try not to ask that one because I want to do weirder
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you like
Come on.
it?
This is great radio. No, not particularly.
Mm. Did you
I
think you were
found
going to like it?
I didn't know. It's a vehicle that has a following.
So you're telling
and-
me it's not a Mitsubishi?
You know better. I wouldn't pick a Mitsubishi
Or a Nissan.
or an Altima or a Taltima. That's a Rogue.
Yeah.
A Nissan. Okay.
Nope.
What
Would you
what
like
is
a
the-
Nissan
what is-
Altima or whatever
if
it is?
If it were 2/3 of the price that it is, I could see it being acceptable. But at the price they're charging, it's completely bullshit.
I'm
What is the
struggling
country
here.
of origin?
U.S. of A.
America.
Traverse.
No.
Solid guess though. Overpriced and shitty. That's a Traverse.
I'm struggling. Tim, help me here.
Is it a General Motors product?
No.
Why'd you just start picking cars?
Yeah. Throw me a guess, Tim.
All right, so it's America. I'm gonna go with a Dodge product, and oh man, it's not the big. It's not the big. It's got to be the tiny Dodge, which is the what's the small? What's the small Dodge called?
The Hornet.
No, the small SUV.
The Hornet.
The Hornet.
Is it?
Mhm.
That's an SUV.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
just
actually
a
an Alfa Romeo
bulbous
Tonale with it.
car. No.
All right, so you're both wrong. I'm tired of this.
Okay.
Ready?
What is it?
Yes.
It was a Jeep Wrangler Sahara plug-in hybrid.
Oh.
Wow.
You
It
went
was a
with
cool color blue.
I would
hybrid?
have never guessed that.
No, me
Yeah, it
neither.
was the plug-in
Oh.
one, which is all they really sell in the Northeast and and basically on the coasts or any place that they care about California emissions. They basically only sell the hybrids. And this was a Sahara, so it was the like street-oriented one, fully loaded. These are like 65 grand, and
Oh.
I can't fathom how anyone would pay that for this thing.
It's a Nissan, made in America. It's a
The
all
Wrangler?
Jeeps are terrible. All Jeeps are
No,
terrible. I am not a Jeep guy. All Jeeps
Wrangler
are
has
terrible.
nothing to do.
Grand
has nothing to do with
Cherokee,
Nissan,
all of
but-
them. They're all terrible. All Jeeps are
Yeah,
terrible.
it's not. There's not the Nissan in it, but so many people love these things, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, here's some of my complaints. I put the seat all the way back. I'm not a big dude. I'm like 5'11" on a good day, and the seat was definitely not back far enough at all the way back. The
Wow. And you're not tall. That's weird.
No, the steering was dead on center, like really dead. The rear
Which is
shock tuning
I
was
feel like
terrible.
that's a Jeep thing, though. Like that's why they're terrible to drive on the freeway.
Yeah. I expected the wind noise. Like, fine, it's square. All right. It had like the things that were good about it had a good big ass screen for CarPlay, and the auto cruise control worked okay, but there's no steering component to the auto cruise control at all. You still have to steer it. Stereo was all right. The hybrid was interesting, although I got it with less than 1% charge in the battery. And I put
That's
it in
wonderful,
like battery
isn't it?
charge mode. Right.
I just
I put it in
love
battery
that.
charge
rental
mode,
car.
thinking like, right. Well, I thought, well, it's a hybrid. Okay, fine. I put it in battery charge mode, thinking, okay, this will charge it up over time, and I can use
A
it
little
as
bit?
a hybrid around the track. Right. It got up to 1% eventually. At the track, there was an EV charger. I tried to plug it in, and the damn typical charging infrastructure in the U.S. The card reader was totally broken, and so it wouldn't take any of my credit cards at all. It wouldn't even recognize them at all. So I'm not downloading the app for this just for fun. So I forget that.
Seriously,
So I got like 20 miles per gallon in my mostly highway. Some just putzing around Elkhart Lake time with it. I just cannot understand how people pay that much for this thing. If it were 40 grand, I'd say, okay, like I get it. Okay. But not for 65. No way. Anyway.
All right.
So Thursday got to the track and they didn't need any help. They were holding everybody. They wouldn't let anybody in until 7. So they had everybody in a lot on the side and nobody was there. So I went to town where, checked into the hotel, and the judging staff went to Siebken's and no one was there. It was totally dead. So we drank beers and ate cheese curds and sandwiches and whatnot at Siebken's. Had a nice time. And heard about the 7 o'clock checkered flag getting waved on the RV parking lot and the disaster that ensued as a result of getting everybody in. And we just drank our beers and laughed at that and all the other silliness we were doing. So anyway, Mental, how was your travel day?
So I took a red eye. I got out of here about 7 o'clock, landed there just past midnight. And so the Cones and At comment about the Turo, I chuckled, and then I got online and I started looking. I'm like, holy crap, you can get a car really, really cheap around there. And then it got me thinking, well, wait a minute, what kind of deals are going on? So I also had a rental available for me. Unlike Chris, it was not something that I would pay for. And I got it for a utilitarian purpose, and I really, really liked it. It is foreign, and I also had 2 big bags. If anybody wants to take a quick guess before we go halfway down this
SUV?
rabbit hole. I'm sorry?
SUV?
Not an SUV.
Sedan.
Not a sedan. Because if I say what it is, well, you're screwed. It was a truck.
Everybody said utilitarian purpose. So
Foreign truck.
Yep.
Toyota Tacoma.
It was Toyota Tacoma. I got there. It's 12:30, and the girl's like, "I have 3 pickup trucks. I've got a Dodge, an older Dodge, or this Toyota." And Pantless Matt had landed, and he had gotten the SR5, and I got the TRD. And it was because Matt said, "Man, this truck is actually really great." And so I got the TRD, and it's fantastic. Its robot mode was really, really good. It had the USB-C, but because I used my little old school charger, it also did over-the-air CarPlay. The turbocharger, I got like 28 miles per gallon driving it all the way up from Wisconsin. It'll hold everything. The back seat was comfortable. Legitimately happy with that choice. That was a fun car.
Great.
I
That's a
wouldn't pay
new
the
body style
$80,000
Tacoma, too.
that those things cost, but yeah. I missed what you said, Chris.
Yeah. That's the new redesign of the Tacoma, not the old one.
Yes,
So
this
I've
was
heard
like
the new redesign is
2024.
Quite good. Yeah.
Yes, it is obnoxiously good. So
Fantastic.
Yay.
You win the rental car game. That's for sure.
Yeah, right? Whee, you win.
yeah, so yeah, and it's even when I got it, the rental car person said, "Are you just getting a truck because you need a truck? Because I've got other stuff. If you just got it because it was cheap." And then I noticed they had a C8 Corvette, which they wouldn't give me. But yeah, so if you're looking to rent, man, trucks are cheap because I got another one coming up at NCM here in 2 weeks, and I got it for a song. So check out Enterprise. Get yourself a truck, especially if you're going to a lemons race.
All right.
Cool. And you slept in your truck at the track that night, right?
I did. I rolled up. By the time I got there, it was like 2:30, almost 3. Got a bit of a cat nap. Woke up at 5 a.m. Decided I was done with this. Drove into a lovely little place called the Red Shorts Cafe in Plymouth, Wisconsin, about 7 miles down the road. Had an amazing homemade corned beef hash and eggs, and something called an Elvis latte, which was fantastic. It's a latte with peanut butter syrup, banana syrup, and chocolate syrup.
Wow.
All of those things sound amazing to me. Hash,
Wow.
hash, and then an Elvis.
And it was
touching all the right
Wow.
buttons right now, buddy.
And what wonderful, of course, it's Wisconsin. I think they make everyone who's a jerk in Wisconsin move to Iowa, but everyone was really, really nice. And I'm in the cafe, and of course they're wearing shorts because it was 50 degrees and t-shirts. And I'm in the cafe for about 5 minutes where I had to go back out to the truck and get a sweatshirt because I was freezing. And they looked at me rather funny when I came back in, and I just said, it was 105 when I left where I live. So yes.
It's too cold in most of the world.
I did come prepared. I had a scarf, I had a hat, I had a warm coat for the
I'm
parade,
sure.
all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
You've been talking about it for a while now, about how cold it's going to be.
My blood has gotten so thin. I'm so useless
Yeah.
these days.
Pretty much.
Yep. All right. Friday, got up at a reasonable time because I had to get to the track because we had a 9 a.m. staff meeting because we were all going to be busy at the parade later that night. So staff meeting, and then there wasn't a whole lot for us judges to do for a while. So hung out with various people around the track. Dean, Jackie, and Matt were kind enough to let me take the 944 out for about 20 minutes in practice day just to remember the track and give it a shot, which was nice. I really appreciated that. It was fun to drive the track again, remember it more than the 3 laps that I had in 2016. So that was good. Porsche was driving pretty well at that point. Everything felt good. So then we went down to town at about 4:00. Our hotel was right there in the center of town. So just walked across the grass to get to the parade area, got our judging robes, got our wagons for stuff, got ready. The town shut down. I mean, it's not much of a town to shut down, but they shut it down, and got ready to judge. And so the way this works is Mental's playing a video of all the cars lined up ready to leave. So the way this works is there's a U-shaped road in town around Siebkens by the lake. And Siebkens is the old hotel and bar and whatnot that has been the kind of the center of the race there for years and years and years. And the race course around the public streets used to go right by it there. And this is where they used to park as like grid basically too. So we had everyone parked there, and we split up our judging crew. Shelly and I took one side, and Eric and Chris Champion took the other side. And we knew that we had to make progress because last year, apparently, it went really late on the judging. Like the people were trying to leave and they weren't quite done yet, and it was raining. It was terrible. So this year we're like, no, we're going. So we had spent a good amount of time ahead of time, essentially pre-classing everything, knowing about what we wanted to make it quicker. And we just went down the row, and there was plenty of people who had decent themes, a few people who just didn't care, and a couple people who you could tell, I don't think you quite get this. And
Really? Oh yeah.
yeah, like
Get out.
like I think we're gonna have problems tomorrow. I think, and hey,
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win.
well, like they kind of tried. Some of them kind of tried, and some of them definitely didn't. And they weren't high. Like it's just like, you just don't get the spirit of this. I don't think. And some of them, even though they had no theme, were very like nice and earnest about it. Like, I just got the car together. I'm sorry, I don't have a theme.
Sure, that happens.
Yeah, and you get the people
Perfectly
really,
acceptable excuse once. Yes,
Yeah, and then you get the people that are really butthurt about classing sometimes, and it's you weren't going to win either of them. Doesn't matter what class you're in, so it's fine, right? But overall, very nice people. Huge. I mean, the street was packed full. Like we had to push people out of the way. There were definitely people there that didn't really know what lemons was. They were just there, like, "What are you doing? What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm judging. What's that?" It's part of the race. Excuse me, gotta go.
Yeah.
And,
Running out of time here, people.
Yep. We had a lot of beer for bribes, as you'd expect in Wisconsin. Lots of beer.
Oh my gosh.
Various
So much
assorted
beer.
sausages and things too. And one team even had their own homemade sausage, which was delicious, right? So
What?
good. Yeah, Jimmy Norenchi gave us some Lego Daytona prototypes, 4 different brands for for each of us as a judge. It's a different brand of Lego, so that was great. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. And yeah, so we were eating cheese and drinking beers as we're walking through town of stuff we got, and a lot of other silliness. So overall, good night. Shelly and I won the race of the judges because we finished our row first, and then we started up the other side a little bit just to rub it in a little bit to Eric and Chris that we did that.
Also, I'm sure it just helped them get done, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, totally. We got it done in plenty of time, which was great.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then we were all pretty tired. Just most people just kind of turned it in and relaxed a little bit. I sat up with Jeff Stobbs and Shelly and her husband Justin in the kind of game room ish of the hotel, just relaxing for a bit, having a couple beers, and went to bed.
So,
being up on your feet, judging for those hours is it takes a little bit out of you sometimes. So
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have bought shoes just to because it hurts. I just buy like these cheap Chinese, really squishy foam shoes that I know are going to fall apart, but it's just gives you something a little bit easier to walk on.
Buy Hoka's. It's a running brand, Hoka. They are amazing.
All right, he is
Amazing.
writing this
If you're gonna be on
down.
your feet all day. They look like clown shoes, but you can just laugh your way
Why I go with
straight
on.
to bed. They're amazing.
So,
All right, Mental,
my
what?
Asics
How was your
are
Friday?
pretty good.
So Friday, same thing. Drove down there. That's always just so much fun. Like the CMP event, and the town was out. Like once we got into town, people are coming out of bars or videotaping, and I got to drive Jerry's 302 powered V8 swapped BMW. Now, sure, the car's cheaty as crap, but it also sounds really nice, and everyone loved hearing that one. So got a couple throttle blips and kids are cheering. So that was a ton of fun. While we're standing there, long after the judging had gone by, we managed to sneak into Siebken's and get some cheese curds and chill out for a bit. They also had a great root beer in there. A friend of mine, when I first started with Extreme Experience, shows up and goes, "What? Mental, what are you doing here? Reed, what are you doing here?" One of the employees of Extreme Experience was getting married. He is David Hobbs' son. And the entire Hobbs family, the racing Hobbs family, was there because that's like their home base. And they were having all the engagement parties. And I ended up running into a bunch of folks from Extreme Experience. Right here is Josh Jenny, who we've had on the show like eons ago. And he's still working with them and makes carbon fiber parts for racing BMWs and stuff like that. So it was actually just a fantastic time. And we had a bunch of folks that didn't know what Lemons was, and you get to talk about all of it. That was just a blast, and to walk around and catch up with everybody. And yes, that may be my favorite parade ever in Lemons. What a great time.
It was good.
I felt
And
like
the fact that it's
I felt like the B classing versus A classing was a little heavy-handed, but that's just my opinion.
it worked out perfectly. And then at the end of Saturday, the top 13 were all A.
Yeah,
And
right.
then you
I was
got into
watching.
a nice group of B. And then by the end of Sunday, a couple of the faster B class cars had moved up to 6th and 7th. So I think
Because I think the fast
perfect.
A stuff was, Road America is hard because you are at high RPMs a lot, and a lot of those fast cars were just popping.
Yeah, every single class was a tight battle at the end. So that makes me feel like, and there was a notable gap between A and B,
Right.
notable
right. There
gap
was
between
no
B and C. So I think we got it. I think we got it right.
third
for the
place
most part.
B car or B's not winning, right? Yeah.
Right. But there was also
And
like an A class car that should have been in B that was 100th place. But, like I said,
Uh-huh.
Tim.
So the team that won the Shameless Pandering to Sponsors Award, the Shitshank Redemption car, which was the graffiti car,
Mhm.
did anyone go and look at their parking spot the next day to see how much overspray was all over the street?
I did not. That would have been good.
No. But I wish
That was
we
all I could
had.
think about was like,
Oh.
I felt bad for their neighbors, and I felt bad for the guy that had come back in and like repaint the lines.
And a whole lot
on
of
the road.
people's fingers. So you got all these
So-
kids that are like, yeah,
so
let me
many
spray it. And
that's,
now
like the
everybody
parents like,
has
what happened to
different-
your hands? You were just going to go
You're
look
right.
at a car. It was awesome.
Everybody has colors.
Well,
Overspray
Saturday night-
everywhere.
Yeah, Saturday night the whole town was packed because there were at least 2 weddings going on between Siebkins and the place we stayed across the street. There was the Ferrari Club was in town because they were taking over the track on Monday, so there were just Ferraris and stuff everywhere. It was really hard to find a parking spot Saturday night. I had to drive the Wrangler's front wheels over some of the mobile parking barriers that they had erected and that were put on the curb just to kind of squeak into a spot. It was yeah.
Wow.
That was the only time I used the off-road ability of the Wrangler was to go a couple inches over this parking barrier thing to get
To
into my parking spot. So,
illegally.
it was legal once I got there. But there was you couldn't see where that PT Cruiser had been before at all. It was busy.
So, if you guys, I think Sorry for Party Racing has an excellent drone footage of the parade while it was still daylight on their Facebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Friday was good. Saturday. Anything else for Friday per you, Metal?
Nope. That was great. And just for everyone that's thinking, man, I really want to go to that race. Yeah, you really, really do. This is why Jimmy Near Wrenchy towed 4 days to get out there. Is towing 4 days to get home. Same thing with Jackie and Dean. Yeah, you want to go to this one.
It was great. My favorite part about the parade, though, is that it's so close to the track. It is 5 minutes or less from the track. It's not like CMP where you got to drive half an hour to Kershaw. You have to tow your car or it has to be street legal. No, this is anything could go. Just like literally strap flashlights to the front of the car to have headlights,
Which
and
we
that's
did
adequate.
for the Miata. Absolutely.
Yep. Totally. But that's it. I think
Police
it's
escort is great.
it's easier for the teams to get there and back than as CMP. CMP is a commitment. So
It's 1 Coors Light from the track.
yep.
Instead of
Totally.
half a cooler.
As a passenger. Yep.
Yes.
Saturday, we got off this. We had our drivers' meeting. It was a big crowd, as you can imagine, because 145 cars is a big crowd. Got everybody gridded. Went through the false grid to get. It was the only time to get everyone dick checked and on the way. I only caught 1 car with cheater tires going to start the race, and it was a car that I expected to potentially have cheater tires on it. And they were the ones with the Blueprint Racing engine that they didn't even try to hide. It still had the Blueprint dipstick in it. It's like, dude, come on. Really?
And why are you going to go cheater tires on a 4 mile on a course that long? Well,
I think they were real racy. One of the guys had a bit of an attitude problem initially too.
Mm.
Yeah, They lasted about 16 laps and left, but they after they changed their tires. Yep, they broke something and left, and that was fine. I'm not sure this is for them.
Karma.
Yeah, pretty much. There was another car, Karma, that we'll talk about. We can talk about a little bit later. So anyway, everyone got out on track and was going, and we were busy right away. Like we had an over under of how long it would take, and it was 9:12. Chris Champion won the over under with 9:12. That's when we got our first car in, and it didn't stop for a while. And then eventually there was a bit of a pileup in turn 5, which is the second long straight after you go into the Sargento Bridge. Some cars had slowed down. There was not a flag right in front of it. The flag was way back at turn 3, which by the time you're all the way at turn 5 feels like an eternity. Couple cars were basically stopped on the track. Another one in front of the car that ended up, there was 2 cars that ended up in the incident. It was a Focus and a Cutlass. And because of the line of sight from the Focus, they couldn't really see what was going on until it was too late, and they spiked their brakes and spun out into the side of the Focus, hit the back of the Cutlass, and the Cutlass never made it back out. It got creamed in the back. The Focus bent lots of things and managed to get it back out after persuasions and hydraulics and trucks and an entire new rear suspension and a lot of stuff. So that caused a black flag all. And that lasted for a good half hour. And after that, they got everyone out circulating under yellow. And that yellow lasted a good long time to calm everybody down.
The F
and
down.
It worked. It worked.
It's good.
We only had 2 cars get to a third penalty all day, which was incredibly disappointing for us because we had so many good penalties planned for these people. And they'd get to 2, and we'd tell them, all right, we're going to do something fun next time. Get ready. And they didn't, except there was this one car that they very successfully did we're new to this. I don't know. And they were a new car, and it was a Mustang. And Shelly had put him in B because she thought, I don't think they're going to push too hard. Okay. And then they go out and they are circle track drivers and they are just super aggro and causing problems. And everyone's like, man, that Mustang, those guys are terrible. So they come in for a penalty and they speed in the pits on the way there. So we call that, all right, this is 3.5 for you guys. And so we said, all right, we're going to put you on the roof. It's saran wrap you to the roof because they were the first one that got to this point. This is great. Well, you can drive around very slowly in first gear and tell people that they should not speed in the pits. And they talk for a little while and say, yeah, I think we're just going to go home. So that was the other self-selecting penalty of the weekend is the 2 nice racy circle track folks decided, and their excuse was, we don't want to damage the roof.
from having somebody on top of it?
Having the guy on it. Yeah, we don't want to damage the roof.
Wow. It's not like you're hitting it with a bat.
No.
Well, why don't we just strap you to the bottom of the car and then you can drive around? How's that sound?
Tim, I want to say you and I have done this to teams, and they went, okay, the roof won't handle our weight. Can we sit in the trunk? We had. I remember saran wrapping someone to a trunk. They sat on the trunk and they saran wrapped it, and they went through and apologized. I've seen that used as an excuse, but not as an excuse to, I'm going to blow our entire entry fee and just go home because this crew is not letting me act like a tool.
Yeah, they were complaining that everyone else was being difficult to them, and that's because they were being such jerks on track that everyone was being very defensive around them because you didn't know what they're going to do, and then how aggressive they were. So anyway, that's the other one, that self-solving problem, which we do that coming to Saturday morning. It's yeah, that car probably shouldn't be in B, but that problem's going to solve itself, and it did. Yep, it sure did.
Yep.
But
well done, Shelley.
Eric, don't hire no fool judges.
Right. After that, everything calmed down, and we didn't get to do any fun penalties. It was quiet on Saturday. So I went walking around looking for people that are broken. That's how I found those kids with the fit and saw all their problems with the wiring harness and AMC Ambassador that's a drag week car. They cracked their power glide entirely around the case. Ended up having to swap in a TH350 of unknown provenance. They put an entirely different transmission in the car, not just a different one, an entirely different transmission because that's all they could get. Right, things like that.
They took the checker, the Kenosha Kickers.
Yeah, they did. There was a Civic, the Johnny Lightning Civic. They cracked their transmission and it smelled terrible. They had stripped all of the teeth off of fourth gear. They eventually showed me a picture the next day. Fourth gear, no teeth at all. There was a whole bunch of carnage like that going on around the pack. But I had time to walk around and see that kind of stuff because the penalty box was quiet.
Was the Oldsmobile that was in the first wreck, were they the Gilligan's Island folks?
They were.
I saw pictures of them, and I heard lots of good stories about those folks.
Yeah, eventually on Sunday they said, "Oh, we need to, can you guys tech our car? I think we can go back out." They all came over completely in theme, had the bumper tied up, and did a whole shtick in Gilligan's Island where Gilligan grabs the rope and the bumper falls off, and the skipper yells at him and all that crap. And they did it just for our benefit and just to have fun. They weren't going back on track. They just thought it would be fun shtick
Get out
bit to do. So those folks were
amazing.
great. They had, it's a crappy weekend when your car gets crashed and you can't make it back, but they had a great attitude at the end. So kudos to them on that.
That's good.
Yeah, and then Saturday night it was the potluck was going on and all the staff left. I was the last one there. I got some pictures of the potluck going on, and then I went to dinner with the rest of the judging crew back in town, and we retired to the pool at the hotel, which is heated indoor, nice pool, and went to bed. Pretty simple. Mental, how was your Saturday?
Painful. We
the opposite of what you just talked about.
Yeah. We had the 302 swapped BMW, which I'd been assigned to, and Jerry took it out early. The clutch was not completely disengaging, and you could smell the clutch. It was burning, so we had to bring it in, get it up, adjust the clutch on it, and we finally got it to where it would engage and go all the way around the track. It's a quick car. We then put my friend Josh, who came up from Team Fat Crack. He was running the car, and it was not behaving well, and it started throwing belts. So we were fighting the belts on that. It was shredding its the one accessory belt on the 302 that powers everything. So it did all of that, and that on that car would occupy the remainder of our day. Luckily, on Friday, I had gotten out in the Porsche, and then also Jimmy let me go out in their 144 Table for One E30, which I knew that car was fast. I just did not know how balanced and damn near perfect it was. So we fought that one. Finally, Saturday night, while everyone else was at the potluck, we're trying to replace and shim alternators because we know something's off. We don't know why. And Nick from the Toyota Matrix crew, the folks that were walking around all weekend in their pajamas, walks over, looks at it, and says, "The power steering pulley, that bolt's supposed to be flush," which was letting the power steering pulley wobble, which would eat our belts and then throw them. So we had to put a specialty tool in there, put in the bolt. No more problems. Put a pin in that because we're going to revisit that on Sunday. Saturday night, got back to the hotel. But while I was there, a listener to the show, who I have not seen for 30 years, a very good friend I was in the Air Force with in the 90s in Nebraska, Jim Bagley, lives in Wisconsin. Drove up a couple hours from Madison, got there not too, 10 or 11 on Saturday morning, hung out with the whole team and crashed with us. And it was great to see Jim and doing the bad podcasting thing. I'm going to try and dig out the picture and show it on my, stop doing that. Show it on the screen. But, there's my good buddy Jim. You can see. And even though he's got a full head of gray hair, I'm older than he is, but that's okay. So that turned out to be great. Just being able to catch up with him. Josh Jenny and his new wife stopped by. So we had a good Saturday as far as hanging out with the team and everything, and everybody was being great. The Miata ran really, really well, but yes, it was, carnage. And as you saw from the brake pads, the Miata destroyed its brakes also on Saturday. So we had to put new pads on there, and those were the new pads on that one. got back to the hotel. We had all kinds of ambition about staying up all night and realized we were all exhausted and just passed out. And our Josh, who again from Team Fat Crack, walking to the plane to fly up there, checked to see if there was a last minute cancellation at Siepkin's with all the weddings and the Ferrari stuff. And it turns out there was. And we rented a 2-bedroom condo for less than it would have cost for a hotel. And this condo was bigger than my first house. And it was lovely. So we were right there by the bar and the restaurant. Great time.
That's amazing. Good.
Yes.
Like really well done.
Yeah. So, just
Mental's lack of planning paid off in the car and house this weekend. So.
Occasionally surprising.
Put that in the notes.
And yes. So Sunday morning, I'm going to steal a little bit of Chris's thunder.
No, go through your Sunday. I don't know.
Eric wasn't mad. He was disappointed. And we all knew before we left the track on Saturday that we had to be there early because of the first ever Sunday morning drivers meeting at a Midwest race.
Not great.
Yep.
Not great.
Well, after the shenanigans Saturday morning, we wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen again. And so, yeah, Eric did his best dad voice to everybody and said, calm down, everybody. Like, this is not how the Midwest does things. We're going to be harsh on penalties today coming in, so you best be on your best behavior. And they were. Everyone that I heard out there said, oh, yeah, it's much calmer than yesterday out there. Everyone was like, no, you go first. No, you go first. And very polite. We only had one team get to their third penalty in the whole day, and that was it. And there were some kids with a Lincoln LS, and the guy came in for spinning off because he couldn't find third gear and spun off, and then he was speeding in the pits. We got him on the radar gun at 15. So I said, you need to work on your precision and your attention to detail. So I gave him a 3D wooden puzzle that Chrissy had given to me for Christmas, and I couldn't get back together. So I brought that, and this whole team, like 8 of these 20-something engineers, all descend on this puzzle. Half hour later, they're still going, and it's not done, and I feel bad. So I say, all right, you guys, it's been half an hour. And they're like, what? And you guys somebody can go back out in the car, but other people have to stay and finish the puzzle because you need that sense of satisfaction of completing it, because you can't just leave it alone now. You'll feel hollow inside. And they agreed. So they
bonehead can put this puzzle together. Why are you not finished?
Right. Yeah, it took them another like 20 minutes. And then I was like, all right, you keep the puzzle. You earned it. So they kept the puzzle. Right. But that was the only third penalty we had on Sunday, and we were so disappointed. Although we did have a lot of black flag virgins coming in. So Shelly would take a selfie with them and whoever else was around for all our black flag virgins, just that they had made it there for the first time. And yeah, it was really quiet. I went over to Canada Corner with Jeff Stobbs for a while just to watch from there because it was quiet. And that was a great viewpoint. You can get really close to the track at Canada Corner in the spectator viewing area. And so that was neat to see. We figured out awards. Classes changed up at within the last hour. Had award ceremony. Drove back to Milwaukee in my not so good Jeep, and then we went out to dinner, and that was it. But it was an easy, nice day. Everyone calmed down. So thank you everyone for calming your driving down. Although I'm very disappointed. We had some really nice penalties that we did not get to use, but there will be time in the future for them. No doubt. We'll get back to those.
Put those in your pocket for later.
Oh yeah.
Penalties don't expire.
Oh, actually, right. No, we had one other three penalty team on Saturday. We made them do a commercial for lemons, and they nailed it on the first take with Jeff Stobbs on video. It was the Rod Throwing Fools. They had a great attitude about it. They did a fantastic job. So I'm sure you'll see that in the Rampage video.
Oh, can't wait.
Yep.
Rod Throwing Fools are usually pretty good too. Like so
they get it. They totally get it.
They totally get it.
Mental, how was your Sunday?
Terrible. So, and I'll see if I can make this work. So, being robbed of actually getting onto the track on, see if I can make this. Yeah. QuickTime Player. There it is. There's the 302 powered. As I enter onto the track, actually that's not even me. That was from Saturday, but so I was going to do the lead off on this one, and immediately I got, as I got out there, the temperature immediately spikes, goes right to 250 and then exceeds the mechanical of the gauge. So I shut it down, get towed in because I'm not going to be the guy that oils down the track. And we go through, and it had overheated, but they couldn't figure out what. So they went through, they refilled the water, sent it back out. I got one lap in anger and it did it again. Brought it back in, and our pre-diagnosis is we cooked the head gasket the day prior when the belt kept throwing off of it, and it was dumping exhaust into the combustion chamber, which would have the water completely spike and then calm down by the time I got it in. But doing a head gasket is a lot easier than doing a rebuild, especially if you ventilate the block, so we parked the car. Wandered down to Sorry for Party. Dean, literally, I'm strapping him into this car, and he tweaks his back, and he's like, get me out, mental, take the car, just take it out, just don't wreck it. So I did. I got to go out and do an hour in the 944, which is as much as we'll pick on that crew about it. The problem is Dean and Matt are way too smart. And they don't listen to Jackie enough, because if they'd have done what Jackie told them, the car would have been fine. But it's a great car. And it was surprisingly capable on that course. And I never got Matt's guts to throw it into turn one with the reckless abandon he did, but it's very well balanced. And then they redid the schedule.
Car takes a little while to get used to.
It does.
But once you have become one with the car, which takes after that said time, then you can trust it to throw it in the right spots and how it likes to be balanced through the corner. And then it's very good. And obviously the prep level is impeccable.
Except for like
it's not a car you can just except you can't just hop in that car and go fast.
No,
I think Matt did a 304 in that car that weekend, which is fast.
He definitely got close to 3.
B car, like a 155 horsepower car and a 4-mile track. That's fast.
And like to what Chris is saying, when you know it and you trust it, you just don't lift, and you don't have to. So, but
you've got to be able to get on the gas and hang on to it. Yeah, he did a 304.4 as the best lap on that car toward the very end of the day on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I got in the Miata, and it was one of those kind of. I know this. I know the Skinny Coyote Miata. I've been with it through several iterations, and I finally settled in and got comfortable. And even with just 119 horsepower or whatever that car has, I managed to get the Miata into a 309 and had a great day and handed it off to the next guy, who then proceeded to realize that even though we told him that morning he would have no brakes, he had no brakes. And then he went and talked to Chris and Chrissy, or Chris and Shelly. And then we did a brake job and put him back out on the track.
What kind of pads were they running, Mental?
It's because it's a Wildwood upgrade on the front. They've got the Wildwood, track brake pads. But after lobbying this, finally, one of the guys on the team went and talked to Chris and got his contact over at Porterfield. And I am confident that at NCM we will have a proper set of ST43s. Or
are you sure they weren't
if
Wagner quiet stops?
Organic power stops, yes, exactly.
Wagner quiet stops.
And when I was out there, because I always get that car with no brakes. I'm always in the car at the end of the day. So I'm used to not using them at all. And I was using the transmission. And it was a lot more third gear than I would have used any other time. But, coming into the left to enter into the carousel and also the kink. And then even coming out of that, I would go 4-3 and then use that, throw it in there, 4, back up to 5. But it just, while it was a challenging weekend, I got to see old friends. I got to drive. I kind of felt like myself again. So yeah, all in all, a great weekend. And then I also drove back to Milwaukee and had very ambitious plans about trying a new restaurant there. And I got to the hotel room that Dean basically gave me because they were going to drive back that night. So thank you, Dean, for the free hotel room. And as soon as I got down, sat down, washed my face, got some of the stank off, realized I was friggin' exhausted. So I just went down to the hotel bar, got a burger, and passed out about 8:30
Yep.
for my 3 a.m. for my 5 a.m. flight, which put me here. And then I jumped in my car and went straight to work.
Yeah, I had a 6:15 a.m. flight. Got into Philly, got home, and after about an hour, started working. Had my half day. Anyway, it was a great weekend. The weather was perfect racing weather. It was in the low 60s during the day and sunny and a little chilly at night, but that was okay. Sun was out. There was some wind, but it wasn't tragic. Lots of nice people. I like the attitude of the people around the Midwest a lot more than Texas races, at least Houston. And great track. Good people. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for the bribes and the hospitality, everyone.
Would everyone agree that this is a must-do race on the Lemon
Yes.
schedule?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The track is amazing. It really is.
The people are
The
amazing.
facility.
The town's amazing. The
Yeah.
The
The whole
track
thing.
itself is enough to
It's
go, but you add in all the extra stuff. Oof.
And I like that they did it a little earlier in the year this year because it was just enough warmer. Like it's almost like perfect time in Wisconsin there. We'll see if they can get that date again, how that goes. But it's great. But the offside of that is that it was pretty busy in town at nights because other things are happening. Where when they do it in mid-October, there's nothing going on. So
Well, it also poured, so nothing was going on
Yeah, that-
anyway.
yeah, that doesn't help.
Makes it easier.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for
Anything
telling
else?
us about your event.
I'm so
Nope.
jealous. I really wanted to be at that race. I really did. It's such a
You were
When's
missed.
next year, Timmy.
And you were missed too, Chrissy.
every year.
There's
Every year I'm
always
going.
next year.
I don't care. Damn the
Yes.
torpedoes.
Everyone
I'm
asked
going.
for Chrissy. Everyone wanted to know where she was because she's better than me, and everyone says hello, like everyone I could possibly imagine. But like a typical race, we're there and they see everyone from everywhere. It's like, oh, there's Mary and Anton and Neil, and like you.
Well, you're
it's
kind
just
of
a
in the
start.
middle of the world to see.
Right? And there's just
Coast, West
everybody
Coast.
from all over the place, right? Yep, there's
Yeah.
everybody. So great to see all the people. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay.
Great.
What's next?
I don't know. Do you have any
Well,
safety topics this week?
Does
Chrissy?
anybody have anything that would make us safer next week?
Yeah. Do you guys have anything? I always have a safety topic, but
Go for it?
Yeah, there's
Go
a reason
it,
for
Chrissy. Come
that.
on.
You're way safer than
It's-
we are.
That's your job.
that's my job.
Use
Yes,
jack stands when
use-
you're jacking
Use
up your
jack
toy car.
stands. That's exactly that was one of them, what I was going to suggest. Yes, always use jack stands, even when you're have a tiny plastic car and you actually just lift up the car and put it on top of the jack, which is what he started to do. Because understanding the concept that that's the jack is supposed to jack up the car. Anyway. This week's safety topic is all about ergonomics and thinking about where your body is where it is going and where it's supposed to be and what you're doing and when you're putting it into weird positions. So I challenge you to think about what you're doing with your body, especially, working on cars is an easy one. There's so many times when you're in a position, you're just like, this is not even like ergonomically correct, but like you could probably hurt yourself by doing this thing. So figure out if you can do it a better way, because we all probably know, and all of you listeners probably already know and have hurt something from doing something stupid. You hurt your back because you pulled some 2 liters out of the back of your Mazda. Been there, done that.
Yeah,
So
and it's not even doing something stupid as you get older, like just getting in your race car, sneezing, crawling out of bed. These are things that can throw your back out.
Sneezing and ribs are not a good combination, by the way. I've been there.
No.
I know. So yeah, that's our safety topic of the week.
All right. Oh, we lost Chris again
Bye.
at the end of the show. Did he just say, that's it? Screw
Bye.
you guys. No real,
Yeah, he's
no
mic
real,
drop.
boom. if I'm not getting a real
wait for
just
the
the
little
tip.
ding ding.
And thanks for downloading us. We are okay. No, he was gone. I didn't know if that would work or not.
He's back.
Yeah.
I think.
Welcome back.
Okay, great.
So next
Thanks.
week, maybe, I don't know, maybe we talk about an HPR Hangover. Maybe we talk about an NCM preview.
Mhm.
Maybe we talk
Mhm.
about something completely
Oh, my
different. I don't know.
goodness.
We got ideas? Anybody thinking? No? Yeah.
We'll figure
We're
something
all
out.
thinking, but we still have a week to figure it out, so we'll be there.
I mean, the butt is right around the corner too.
The butt's always right around the corner, baby.
There's a race every week in September. So
Everybody's thinking about the butt always.
It does relate to the sinkhole. So
Wrong
what
track,
we
though.
will do is we are going to link last year's High Plains preview show so you can do the virtual track walk. That is in
Oh,
our
that's
show
wonderful.
notes. So if you need to listen to that on your way to the HPR, and if you see me, come say hi. Chris, I did have a guy come up to me and say, hey, you're mental, right? So I talked to Chris and he said that you would have stickers, which I did.
oh, good.
Oh,
I'm glad.
good. Because I figured, right? Because I was like,
Tyler
oh,
was
you don't need to
asking
bring
me, and I was
any.
like, I didn't bring any. Sorry.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Tyler. You should have come. Yeah, I had to talk to Tyler
I've
like
got-
4 times. I didn't give him any. Maybe I had some. I don't know. But yeah.
I've got a care package already made and addressed to Tyler that I'm sending to him.
That's
That's
awesome.
E1R swag.
All right.
So, sorry,
Good.
Tyler. We got you.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Then
Good
here
show.
here we go to the, yes, I updated the intro, but I didn't update this. I'm sorry. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. And go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text pictures of your junk to me at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, and even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.